This video is going to cover how to choose the correct glue, foam, vinyl, and leather for your Fifth Avenue handbag. Let's start with the glues. The two glues that I have in front of me are recommended in the pattern. These are water-based contact cements that are low odor to no odor. This one is LePage's contact cement. It is only available in Canada, unfortunately. Great for us Canadians, but not for the rest of you. And it comes in a smaller bottle to a larger bottle, and this is the larger one. The other one is called EverTac by Springfield Leather. This is available through the States, and you can get it in a small amount or a larger amount as well. Both these glues are water-based, which means they are easy cleanup and easy to work with. Low odor to no odor, so you're not working in an area that you have to vent like you do with the regular contact cement. It is a permanent bond contact cement, works the same as any other contact cement, and is great for when you are adhering your foam to your leather. Okay, now let's cover the two foams that I recommend. These two foams are the ones that are listed in the pattern. This is a closed cell foam, and this is the flex foam, which is the Pellon. This is one side fusible. Now, this is the foam that I recommend for the leather, not for the vinyl, because you need to use glue to the side of this because there's no fusible side. You want to place the contact cement on the one side and the contact cement on the wrong side of your leather. This will bond permanently, and it is the better foam to use for the leather. This foam is the Pellon Flex Foam, which is an open cell foam, and this has fusible to the one side. This is the foam I recommend for vinyl. The reason I don't recommend this for the leather is because you need to place a lot of heat from the right side of the vinyl, of course covered with a cloth, through to adhere it. And I really don't feel that putting that much heat for that long a period of time on leather is good. You definitely would not be using steam either for this, because a steam can give you a blast of a higher temperature and can burn or melt your vinyl. So you will need to do all kinds of testing on your foam with your product, your exterior that you are using for the bag. Little bit of information on closed cell and open cell. This one is about 1/8 of an inch, a little bit bigger than 1/8 of an inch. This one is approximately 1/4 of an inch. A closed cell foam is solid, so there is absolutely no little bubbles and holes in it. It's a solid foam. This one is found in upholstery shops, and there's a resource, and the resource page in the back of the pattern gives you information on where you can purchase this foam. Most of the time it's a mold resistant foam that's used in backpacks as well as upholstery applications. Now the other foam is the Pellon Flex Foam, and it's open cell, and you can see that there's little bubbles in there, kind of like an Aero chocolate bar. That's what identifies this as an open cell foam, meaning there's open cells throughout the whole foam where there are no holes or open areas in the closed cell foam. So these are the two foams that are recommended in the pattern. And again, like anything, if you have something that you have found that works for you, then by all means go ahead and use it. But what you do need to remember is that this foam needs to bond permanently to the wrong side of your exterior. So you have to create a bond that is solid, so it works as one. You want to unite these two pieces together. You don't want any air bubbles showing. You don't want to have any areas that it is not glued, because that will show when you're using a smooth or flat vinyl or leather. If you're using a textured, like a embossed looking crocodile or alligator or something like that, you may not see that as much, but you will notice that in smooth leather or vinyl. So those are the foams that I recommend in the pattern. Okay, now let's cover the choices of vinyl for your bag. In front of me I have this very, very soft vinyl, and it has a bit of a furry back, like a fabric back to it. I love this vinyl for the Fifth Avenue bag because it really shows well. It looks like leather. It's got a bit of a two-tone texture to it, but the backing of the fabric also adds a bit of thickness to the bag and will give more puffiness to the bag when you finish it. You also need to test your vinyl with a cloth. So what you're going to need to do is take a pressing cloth. You can use 2 layers if you wish. Place it down on top of the right side of your vinyl. Take an iron and a wool setting, no steam, and hold it. Let it press on there for at least 12 seconds because you need to know if this vinyl is going to melt. That is also something you need to bear in mind when you are using your vinyl. You do not want it to melt. This one does not melt. It can take a good heat. I have a steam press machine, and as long as I place a cloth on top and pull the steam press down on the wool setting for 12 seconds, then it's good to go. You may need to let this vinyl cool down a little bit before you pull that pressing cloth off because it can stick to it a little bit. Now, this is a vinyl that does not have that fabric to the back. So it's a really great texture. It almost looks like a Saffiano leather. But what happens when you put heat to it is it melts. So it's going to get thinner in waves. Now you can see there's no fabric to the back. So when you actually are adhering your foam piece to the front, it can actually melt. Now this has been placed under 2 layers of a pressing cloth and to the right side. So you can see what's happened. Yes, it has adhered the foam beautifully, but it has melted your vinyl. So you really need to do a test first before you go ahead and make your bag. This portion right here has the closed cell foam that has been glued to the back of this vinyl, which may be a better application for you if you really, really love this vinyl. But you need to be aware that you cannot use heat on this vinyl. So you really have to weigh that out when you're with the product that you are using. You also want to try to have the vinyl somewhat flexible because you are bending and turning it as well. You can use a stiffer vinyl like a croc vinyl, but also don't try to stay away from the ones that are so stiff that they don't bend, because the curves of the Fifth Avenue, which is right here, need to be very soft and rounded. And if you have too stiff of a vinyl, it will not work as well. And you can see the softness of this bag is this vinyl right here, and this vinyl is attached to the flex foam, so you can see it stays together as one piece and doesn't separate anywhere throughout the bag. Okay, let's cover the leather now. Your leather can be anywhere from, I guess, 2.5 ounces through to maybe 4.5 ounces. That all depends on you. Basically, you're going to be skiving all the way around unless you have a thinner leather. Like this is the leather, move this one aside. This is the leather I'm going to be using in the bag in the video of the instructions on how to make this bag. This is approximately 2.5 ounces, and it's thin enough for me to not have to skive this. But if I was using a thicker leather, I definitely would be skiving all the way in the recommended areas for the leather. A couple of things to bear in mind when you are using your leather. You want something, again, that's going to have a softness to it. It's going to be a little softer, that'll create a nice soft look on your bag. If you're using a stiff, thick leather, you may not need to use the foam at all. That's something that you have to judge for yourself, being that you know your own leather. But basically, I prefer to use something that's about 2.5 to 3.5 ounces and has got a nice soft feel to it. So for example, this leather is about 3 ounces, 3.5 ounces, and this is used in one of the bags that's in the front cover of the pattern. It's very, very soft, as you can see. It's a little thicker than this one right here, and I have skived throughout it, but the point of it is it's soft, and it's got some nice pliable feel to it, so that when you use it in the bag, it gives it a nice feel to the bag. So basically what you want to bear in mind is the thickness of your leather for your skiving. When you are placing handles to the top, like has been put to the top of this vinyl, and if your leather up here is too thick, like say it's 4.5 ounces, and you have your facing that's 4.5 ounces, when you cut away for your area for your handles and you place the handles together, you may be too thick to have those screw holes come through, and then you're going to run into some snags. So I would really recommend staying within the area of 2.5 to 3.5 ounces of leather for this Fifth Avenue handbag. So basically that's it. These are the recommendations that I've given in the pattern, and as always, you need to choose what is perfect for you and works for you. If what I'm recommending does not work for you, not a big deal. Just go ahead and use what you know will work for you. So now we're going to carry on with the construction of the Fifth Avenue handbag.